The footage used in this episode is an interview with Pete Renzullo, which took place in his recording studio. ATME logo.
My name is Pete Renzullo. I'm a music producer in Perth. I've been doing it for the past 10 years or so, and also a performer. I play guitar and I'm also a mandolinist. And I've recently started venturing into the world of filmmaking.
Title: a film by Peter Renzullo.
So my film, Anticipation, is essentially about an artist who's trying to make it in the music scene. You know, he doesn't want to be rich and famous, he just wants to make a living out of what he's doing and try and share his music, but he suffers from social anxiety issues, so he doesn't like large crowds, doesn't like being the center of attention. And then you find out as the film evolves why he's developed this condition and why he's finding it so hard. So there's quite a bit of mental health issues in this film.
A man holding a guitar stands on stage of an empty theatre. Title: Anticipation.
So when I was writing the script for this, I didn't write much at all on a computer itself. I used my phone because there was an app, and I forget the name of it, escapes me, but essentially it turns everything into opposite. Basically, the white background, if you look at a Word document, suddenly became black and the whiting was right. With the white background, things just get blown out in my vision and I find it hard to see the black writing. So having that ability to reverse it and just have the white writing on a black background just made life a lot easier.
Peter focuses his camera on two guitars.
I use a feature of this particular camera I bought called guide focus, which essentially is when things are in focus, it puts a very harsh green light around whatever's in focus. Because some of my shooting is at night, a lot of the depth of field is very shallow. So I tend to find that it's hard for me, just because of my vision problem, I find it hard to see what's in focus and what's not. These guidelines make it just really easy.
Peter laughs whilst looking through his camera.
When I was sourcing a monitor for this, because I wanted to get a decent monitor that I was able to use practically with my vision problem, so the bigger the better. I found this LG screen, which was an ultra wide screen, a massive platform for me to see what's going on. I can zoom in a lot. I've got a secondary screen as well, which I can have a lot closer to me, so I can move things across to that one if I need to read them. But I essentially had to find this large screen which I could use for video editing and also make it easier for me to see.
Peter does video editing on his computer.
So with my editing of the audio, in particular with the score, because you have layers and layers of tracks, and they essentially just line up all underneath each other. So for me, visually, I was just seeing this wash of grey, but there's an ability on there where you can change the color of that background. Then certain clumps of parts will be one color, so the drums are all red, the guitars are all yellow, and that made life a lot easier. So I used the color coding a lot in the Pro Tools sessions, and I found with score writing in particular, because there's so many tracks that you need, you just need to have some way to get from the drums down to the guitars without needing to look at the names. For me, I can't look at the names. The colors are what I use to help get me from navigation.
Peter changes the color code to purple.
Essentially, if I can create something that someone with perfectly fine vision can create, by using something that is like for the camera, the guidelines or the reverse of the text to the background, if my result can end up being what a perfectly fine-sighted person can do, then whatever that was that got me there is the technology that helps. And that is, to me, AT.
Title: Anticipation. @Chat logo. Live, play, work. Facebook, Instagram, @chat with us.